I feel that some industries may be lagging behind, but we may not know them because they don't really know that they are lagging behind, and they don't complain.
What is digitalization? The first question was, right? So when you go and ask a small, medium business, right, the thing that they can talk about, right, is your website, is your social media handles, and that's it. They don't go more than that.
Many often we hear of decision makers, it's not their first time that they made the choice to go digital.
Yeah.
They may have failed one time years back, and then they may be embarrassed to accept this failure.
When you work with businesses across Malaysia, what do you see the common challenges that they have? Hello listeners, welcome to the Asian Century podcast. In 2023, 97% of Malaysian economic landscape is made out of SMEs. So research suggests that SMEs adopt digital solutions, but they start with things like e-commerce or digital marketing. Very less likely that they do things in terms of inventory or accounting systems. So today we have Zoho here with us, a unique and powerful software suite to transform the way you work. Designed for businesses small and big, built by a company that values your privacy. So today we have Koo here, who is the marketing manager, and also Navin, who is the regional marketer, and he takes charge of the market here in Malaysia. So the big word here today is digitalization. So I'll start with Koo. So when it comes to digitalization, and Koo, you work with markets here across Asia, what does it really mean?
It differs from different businesses and industry. So it's not just implementing a CRM or having a landing page. So it involves connecting different elements in the business from the front end to the back end to ensure better customer experience and employee experience so that you serve a better customer experience.
So in short, it means from the front end to the back end of the business?
Yes. So for instance, in e-commerce business, right? It's not just the front end where you allow the customers to buy something off your website. It also involves the delivery, the customer satisfaction process, the survey process, and up to the end surveys and feedback.
Starting from the whole customer experience to, like you said, inventory management and many things that people don't see in the back end. So when it comes to Malaysia specifically, and that's what we will talk about, there are certain industries that are leading this, right? For example, we just talked about e-commerce, right? So, but what industries are lagging behind this?
I feel that some industries may be lagging behind, but we may not know them because they don't really know that they are lagging behind, and they don't complain. Personally, I come across very traditional businesses, brick and mortar stores. There may be a mamak store, a restaurant that doesn't have any online ordering process. They may not even have a website. They may have a very simple Facebook page that is not updated for the past few months. So I think businesses like that often struggle with day-to-day operations without any much digitalization.
And when it comes to Malaysia, we are very big into manufacturing, right? So how's the industry? And also we do a lot of agriculture as well. So how does those industries come in?
When it comes to manufacturing, many users or many prospects that I have spoken to, they are stuck with monolithic, very old ERP systems. And often, when there's not much innovation in these ERP systems, they tend to be stuck on an ERP system that's very outdated, like 10 or 20 years ago. And, as machineries move towards, 4.0, more IoT stuff, they find that they get less and less digitalized. And I think for agriculture, we actually did a few runs in Kuantan, Pahang, and a few places that we brought Zoho to. Many businesses in these regions where they're very strong in agriculture, many tools are not designed for them. So that's what we observe.
Yes, speaking about that, many tools are not designed for them. So Navin actually works with businesses across Malaysia. You mentioned, Pahang, Kelantan, places like that. So when it comes to tools, what do you think these tools are made in mind? Are they made for Malaysians?
So basically, like, when you go into the market, you can see a lot of Malaysian born tools, like, digital tools, and they have like, every tools that eventually caters for a certain department within your organization itself. But what they are lacking is, right, they don't have tools that specifically cater for that particular industry. For an example, when we are taking agriculture industry for an example, they do need inventory management as well, because they do have props, they do have fertilizers they use for the plantation and so on. So how do we take into account of like, how like, items and everything is being used for the plantation, and whether they can effectively manage their costs at the end of the day. So when they don't have such tools which emphasizes for their particular industry, because there are a lot of tools mainly focuses on this retail as well as all these service businesses. But when we are looking into like what Ku has mentioned earlier for manufacturing as well as agriculture, right? There are tools that you can touch on the surface. But when you want to go deep into like, their operations, because every industry differs in terms of their operations and everything. So these kinds of tools are like, still lacking, I would say, although there are like a simple ERM is like popping up in Malaysia. Then you can also see accounting systems are coming and everything. But the focus is not there.
Yeah.
If I want for agriculture, this is a tool to go for. So they don't have something like that.
Okay.
So that's one thing. So another thing is most of the tools are made global in mind. So rather than catering like, Malaysia and all these APEC partners, right? People are always like thinking, even the startups comes with their idea and everything, they straight go to global. They don't want to see what are the pain points that faced by these industries here. So once they start to like, identify and have these vertical things in mind, right? So we will be like, having solutions which specifically cater for them. So that's the thing that we are lacking in terms of digital tools here in Malaysia.
Yep. It is important to digitalize, like you said, industries like agriculture.
Yes.
So because without digitalization, you cannot improve, you cannot measure, am I right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So when it comes to getting Malaysian SMEs to start, and they need to start somewhere, like you
Yes,
said,
right.
there's so many
Yep.
things to start with. So what are the top 3 tools they should start with?
Okay, so basically, even if you're being like a micro business or even being in a small medium business, there are few particular aspects that you need to focus on. The first thing will be your communication and collaboration. So when we are talking about communication and collaborations, it's about like how you communicate within your internal team and also to your stakeholders. For example, your customers, your suppliers. So when you don't have a proper system in place, you might be like, messaging in WhatsApp, you might be like, emailing them, but you won't be having like, you are not tracking it. So when you don't track it, you might not know like what communication this person is having, because sometimes even in organizations, right, people come, they leave. So what happens to the, like, for an example, the customers that they were like serving or they were talking to and all. So when you have like these communication and collaboration tools, for an example, like internal storage system where you store like informations, your plans and everything. So it is accessible by the people within your department itself. So it is easier to communicate and collaborate effectively when you have such platform in place. So next I'll be talking about digital signature. So digital signature is rising. And we want to go paperless. So you can see like, nowadays, even from banks, you're not getting like, paper statements anymore. You're getting e-statements and all. So but there are still companies who are like still they, for an example, if you're quoting or like, you have an invoice, right? You need to manually sign, then you need to scan again, and then you need to send again. So you're going to waste a lot of time there.
Sometimes you
So-
need to stamp.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even some customers, right? They even prioritize. You need to get your company stamp, man. If not, we're not going to like,
Banks still do this.
So it happens, So when we focus on digital signature, you're going to cut all those times and efforts that you're going to put. One person go and scan, and one person, go and sends the email out and everything. It's good to just send the statement or like, invoice and everything, get it signed. It's done. Companies like, even small, medium companies and also like micro companies can actually like, focus on this. So apart from this, right, next will be CRM. So most people think that CRM is for the big boys and not for the small boys. So CRM actually works for every single, even if you're like, having like a 2-person organization or 3 people working and everything, you still need a CRM system in place. Is because you want to track what is happening to your leads, what is happening to your customers, because that's how you're going to build the relationship with your customers. So when you fail to build relationship, they go to your competitors. So that's what happens. That's why people you can see they jump one business to another. They don't want to be loyal to a specific brand and everything. Because at the end of the day, it's how you build the relationship and provide what your customer is looking for. It's not about I'm having high tech things, this one, that one. You can actually tell a lot of things about your brand, but at the end of the day, are you serving the purpose and are you serving your customers? Because your customers is the asset of your business. If you're not doing the right thing for them, so you'll be losing business in the upcoming years for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing those 3 points. Cool. Do you have anything to add?
Actually, one more thing that is good to track is also to track your co-founders also.
Okay.
As a startup, sometimes you may not know your co-founder for a very long time.
Yep.
And it's good to use a CRM to even track your co-founders.
Yes.
So that you know who brings in the most of the business, and good to keep each other accountable in many scenarios.
Because at the end of the day, when we are looking at startups, one person going to wear a lot of hats. He's going to be in the sales, he's going to be in the marketing, and even he's the one delivering the item also at the end of the day. You can see that a lot in Malaysia.
After a few months, you will start to forget, who gave the discounts? Yeah. Who gave that 50% discount?
Correct.
Yeah. You need to be able to, retrieve, information like that.
Yes.
Yes, it's very important to track that. Yes, you said a lot of disputes, and you can track the activity right down to, you said, the digital signature. Who approved this?
Yep.
To who gave the discount? What is the promo code and everything? So that's very important. So Navin, when you work with businesses across Malaysia, what do you see the common challenges that they have?
Okay, I think rather than just talking about the challenges, let me give an example of business that I've worked with previously in helping them digitalizing their business. So this is a legal firm. So basically what legal firm does, because they manage a lot of cases and everything, some disputes and so on. So what happened was they need to manage the case files. They also need to communicate with the client and so on. So what happened was once they missed out on a file and to communicate with the client, and what happened was they missed out on the most important part, and it caused a lot of damages at the end of the day. So that's where they realized they need to have a system in place, because it's very hard to see legal firm coming out implementing systems, because they want to keep the things private, because all the informations are sensitive, especially their client financials and all other informations and so on. So what happened was they needed a storage platform, and also they need platform where they can easily communicate with their clients as well as the internal employees. So what we do even for Zoho, we have in communication tools and also collaboration tools, as I've mentioned earlier, the important tools that you need. So what happened was they started to store their informations and all these files and everything in one place, which is accessible to the right person, because you cannot simply give access to everyone also, because at the end of the day, everyone just go and access to certain files and everything. It's going to be a disaster there. So you need to have a system in place which can tell who are the people who can access to that particular folders or particular documents and so on.
Mhm.
So this kind of thing shows that not only in the legal industry, even when we are looking at engineering firms or even construction companies and all, so they have a lot of documents which needs to be shared among their peers and so on. So you can't be emailing every single one of them by clicking on moving your file to the attachment and sending them. When it's available and the right people to access it, it will cut your time to go to your email and everything. So at the end of the day, it's about saving your time, saving your cost, and spend your time on the things that's going to bring in more money for business.
Mhm.
Because that's the ultimate goal. You want to make more money, right?
Yep.
As a business owner. So apart from that, we also can see I talked about CRM system earlier. So CRM system allows you to keep on track on your leads, prospects, as well as your customers. So because you don't want to oh, my sales finished ready, so it's okay. I don't want to follow up the customers and everything. If you're going to do that, you're going to lose out the customer for the long term.
Yeah.
So you want to keep on supporting them, see what are the some of the problems that they go through and how you can solve them. You can have a lot of features or you can provide a lot of things, but the end of the day is whether you are supporting them. Support system is very important.
Mm.
So that's most of the challenges that usually businesses face in terms of their digitalization process and so on in Malaysia.
Yep. So it is also having a lot of these businesses, they are very conscious of you, like you said, the law firms and things
Yes.
like that. So they also don't have really a clear digital strategy. Am I right?
Correct. That's true.
Okay, so when it comes to challenges, I think behind those challenges is, of course, the feeling of fear, right? Cool. So across Asia, and as you can see as well, what are the fears that you see when it comes to embracing digital?
I think sometimes it comes from the experience of the person implementing these digital solutions. Many often we hear of decision makers. It's not their first time that they made the choice to go digital.
Yeah.
They may have failed one time years back, and then they may be embarrassed to accept this failure. Sometimes you listen to a fantastic salesperson, and then okay, let's hop onto this ABC software, and then you start the digitized journey.
Mhm.
And after 6 months, somehow that mobile app never happened. A lot of projects failed halfway, and we see many cases like that. And often we also find that there are other vendors that do not have transparency in pricing. So probably you can go to their website, and what you find is click here, get on a consultation call, and then you get when they found that you are a mid market or a bigger enterprise, they will start to charge you X plus Y plus Z, and then it's very costly. So what we actually believe in, we happen to be in the space to solve problems in the SME, mid market, or businesses with affordable solution. We do not want to come in to try to solve a $5 problem with a $9 solution.
Mhm.
So we always have that a $3 solution to a $9 problem. So that's what we always envision us to do. And in Zoho, we have a breadth and a depth of solutions that actually suits different departments, functions, and even that all in one kind of software suite environment.
And yeah, thanks for sharing that story. I know a lot of businesses, they were promised by different applications and different new startups, and they didn't fulfill that promise. So when it comes to this, do you have any stories to share when it comes to digitalization?
Sure. So in one of my experience in the implementation in Singapore, I'll say a startup, they have first tried to implement our CRM. So we started out, using a free CRM, and they have, migrated past the databases onto the CRM so that they can track, the leads, the contacts, and subsequently measure deals. And after they successfully, implemented this CRM, they have went on to even add in more modules such as campaign management, social media management, and others. So it includes some of the operation tools such as digital sign, collaboration tools, emails, and subsequently as their business grew, they even use Zoho projects and other Zoho tools like Zoho Desk, Zoho Sales IQ like live chat, and so on, until they went on the full suite called Zoho One.
I see. So thanks for mentioning the full suite. So I know a lot of SMEs, they use different tools for different things. You mentioned just now, email, they have a tool, CRM, they have a tool, social media, they have another tool. So why is it important to have everything under one suite?
Sure. So first we must understand that when we are startups or in the startup environment, sometimes you will add and you will have co-founders leaving you, and every co-founder will bring along their expertise. Sometimes a co-founder will come on board and he's expert in certain software. He feels that, hey, let me bring this into your organization. And then slowly in another 3 months, you've found another co-founder who is good in certain things. He may come in as a CTO. He want to implement some kind of thing. And then you will have a mixture of skeletons of software. And sometimes these software do not integrate well with each other. And then you will start to, finger point. It's like, hey, your software don't integrate with mine. And then what happens? And when you have all the services by one vendor like Zoho, you know that you are subscribing to one peace of mind because you have backed by one company who has been around for more than 28 years. They have grown, we have grown. We are day-to-day users of Zoho. so we can understand that it truly works.
So thanks for sharing that. So I know that Zoho, I use Zoho as well. So I'm going to Singapore for a conference, and a lot of times the ticketing system, everything is by Zoho as well. So you mentioned a lot of co-founder stories, and these disputes when it comes to SMEs is unavoidable. So do you have experience when it comes to that?
Okay, sometimes when you have disputes, you have many sides of the story.
Yeah.
We have to be very non-biased because we get different sides of the story. And sometimes the salesperson, the CMO, the CTO, the CFO, they all will speak in different languages.
Yep.
And we are also not like the subject matter expert for all of these languages. We also choose not to take sides. But from what I experienced, it is about data in silos. When you have data in a certain silo, where as the CFO, you know all the spending in your startup, but your CTO doesn't know. Your CTO may find that, hey, I have a certain technology, I need to pay X amount, and this is a very critical technology, but my CFO don't know. But the CFO will only know, hey, according to my accounting software, this is something I want to save. And then to maybe the sales and the marketing person, they may find that, hey, I'm using this technology, and because there are so many choices of marketing software. I think you are in the marketing realm. There's so many choices, 1,000 and 1 million types of software around.
Even I think there's close to 30,000 to 40,000 Martech stack now.
Correct. And when you are a startup, a CMO, right? I don't think that this person has the enough situation awareness to constantly evaluate whether they are using the best marketing tech stack. It doesn't work that way.
Yes.
So they may be stuck in a technology that may be outdated. They may be paying for more, and the data resides in that marketing application, and it's not shared across to the sales or to the CFO. So this data in silos actually causes a lot of misalignment. And then because of this misalignment, you get a lot of conflict amongst the C-suites.
Yep. I think it is very important, like you said, when I was also a CMO at some point, and yes, there's so many software. I think you need someone dedicated to know all the MarTech that is out there. So, Navin, when you work with all these SMEs across Malaysia, and a lot of them, of course, are left behind, what do you say to them?
Okay, so basically when we are talking about digitalization and also focusing their efforts into digitalizing their business, right? So the first thing, right, is their lack of knowledge, I would say. Because the lack of knowledge means they are not actively going out there to understand or adapt to what digitalization actually means, and how do they conceptualize on the digitalization as a whole thing itself. Because earlier your question was to Ku was, what is digitalization? The first question was, right? So when you go and ask a small medium business, right, the thing that they can talk about, right, is your website, is your social media handles, and that's it. They don't go more than that. So when they don't do that, you're not going to grow your business. Because I know there are a lot of ads coming in telling you, oh, you can grow your business by social media. And now AI is on the rise, and you can tell, okay, you have generative AI. It can do the work of 10 people or 20 people within your organization. Yes, it can do. But do you know how to leverage on it? Can you leverage how generative AI works? So they need to constantly educate themselves and understand how they can incorporate it into their business. So the next thing is their perceived cost. So when it comes to digital tools, or you want to digitalize your business, right? Business owners, without doing their homework and everything, they would say, "Oh, this one very mahal lah, so expensive. It's better for me to focus on getting customers, making money and everything. Why do I just need to go and invest in some tools and everything which I need to spend my money?" The thing people don't understand is it's not about spending money on those tools. It is your investment for long-term growth. So they perceive the cost is going to be your expense. But eventually, it is an investment for you to grow for the years to come, and even for the long term for sure. So that's how the digital tools works for businesses. Okay, so apart from that, there are a lot of these digital tools providers also. They are not giving transparent information to their customers. They will tell it can do A, B, C. But at the end of the day, it just do A and C, and B is left out. So when it's being promised that way and it does not function like, how it's supposed to function and everything, that's where people get, oh, digital tools, these just guys just come and hype about it and everything, but it really doesn't do anything for me because of certain vendors, certain producers who does this mistake. So we want to avoid that, because at the end of the day, the experience is what they feel, oh, this is the thing, without experiencing other providers and so on. So apart from that, they should also focus on starting small.
Yep.
Because we don't want you to go and simply spend. Tools are available for the corporates and enterprises. So you want to start small and scale up. So that's how small and medium businesses should work. You don't want to just go and put a chunk of money there and after that complaining, oh, I'm not getting any benefits or any use from that things and everything that I've spent on. So you start small, see how things works. How can you incorporate it to your business and how it helps you to grow your business?
Yep.
So then once it shows some results for your business, then you can invest more or invest more tools within that ecosystem itself. So when you do that, your digital system grows and your digital tools usage grows and your business revenue growth as well.
Yep.
So that's how you go about it. You don't want to go for the spending so high and your growth is here. Then after that, you tell, I cannot grow. So that's not how things works nowadays. But with a lot of tools out there and everything, people are spoiled with choices as well.
Yeah.
So that's why it is important for them to focus on getting the knowledge of it, study about it, do your homework, then choose the product that satisfies your requirements and so on.
Yeah, I love your point there where you said growth and
Yes.
you said, let them see some results.
Yes.
So when it comes to this, what are some of the small wins, small results they can see that are also low cost as well, that can help them alleviate the fear?
Okay, so when you're talking about low cost digital tools in general, right? First of all, in any business, you can go for your digital invoicing, because I do still see businesses who invoice in paper, you get it signed like I mentioned earlier, right? So the digital invoicing, it's a thing that, it's rising because of the e-invoicing thing that's come in. So everything it needs to be going to our LHDN and all these things are being, all the data is being captured and so on. So you want to digitalize your invoicing system as well.
Yep.
So because digitalizing it will, at the end of the day, right, I will always emphasize this one thing. You save your time, you be cost effective, you will definitely grow.
Yep.
So you can focus on that. So next, I will be focusing on storage system. Storage system, you can look at, there are a lot of storage system in the market, but you need to see how does it keep your informations private and the security measures are there. You don't want it to be exploited. And you also don't want your staff, let's say he resigned from a job and everything, he has access to all your information, he just download and take it and go away. This happens always. This happens in so many organizations, especially in the small medium industry. So you need to have a storage system which allows you to have a massive control over who access and what are the things being accessed, and also it can be distributed to the teams. Like what Ku mentioned earlier, an integrated system. So you want all the departments to be aware, what are the most important things are happening.
Yep.
And apart from that, I would also again emphasize on CRM system as well, because CRM system, you can go with even at Zoho, you can go with the free tier of product, which you can try and see how the system works, because customers are the heart of your business. You want to make sure your customers, your prospect and your leads are in place, and you're continuously following up with them, providing them the information that they need. And, at the end of the day, both sides need to be win-win situation. So that's how CRMs come into play. So I think these three tools are the most low cost and affordable tools that you can focus on when you're starting out investing on digital tools. Yes.
All right, thank you, Nevin. So it's very important. I think the one important point, of course, that you mentioned is the cloud storage.
Yes.
So a lot of SMEs that I know store here in this drive and then in that cloud, so it's all over the place. So when it comes to working with business owners, I also notice that a lot of them will say this. Actually, I'm not very digital. My team. They know how to use these new tools. So what do you tell them, cool, when they say this?
When you know how to use Google Photos, you know how to use Zoho Work Drive. So the concept is the same.
Yeah.
So you have some complicated jargons, but it's actually very simple. It's only the things that you really use for work will be mainly your email, your business chat app, and your storage space. So in the terms of Zoho, it's like a Zoho Click, Zoho Work Drive.
Mm-hmm.
So the day-to-day operations of organization using Zoho's collaborative suite, you do not really need to download any attachments from mail to attach it to your shared folder or to send it across to other collaborators, internal or external. Everything can be done on our platform. So it's a very seamless way to share and to comment on articles, whether you want to create documents or you want to comment on certain documents. So there's no more like sending across spreadsheets with final version, final version, cool. There's no more of those nonsense. Yeah, if you use Zoho, yes.
Sending documents without access. I think one of the important keys for small SMEs as well is sales, right? So without CRM, they can't really track sales, right?
Quite true. However, if the salesperson will only track the customers based on the conversations with the WhatsApp messages
Yep.
or the email with the client, right? Most of the time it is very defragmented because sometimes when you use a CRM, it ensures that you have access to the notes and the previous discussions you have with this certain prospect or lead.
Yep.
And you will only send possibly quotations or the sales contracts to the relevant person. Often, if you do not use a CRM, what will happen is you may send or attach the wrong attachments to the wrong WhatsApp. What happens, in the case of a real estate kind of a prospect, right? This person looking for Mont Kiara, you send this person Damansara, a condo,
Yeah,
and then things will fail. So using a CRM has its own designated purpose because it gives you the notes of previous interactions with this person in your organization. It also can aggregate all the conversations and codes that you already have built with the profile of this prospect in mind.
Yes, I think that is amazing. So, Navin, you work with SMEs across Malaysia. What success stories can you share?
Okay, I have this particular success story. It's an engineering firm which focuses on renovation basically. So when they come with their problem statement, right? So they are telling that their quotation is being done in Word. Then they have emails scattered around, and sometimes one email doesn't know where the email go, and they miscommunicate with their customers. And another thing, they are not tracking the milestone, because in renovation, right, you have certain phase that you do certain things or within the project and so on. So they need to have milestones where they complete. For an example, if they are putting tiles or they're doing plaster ceiling and all, right, so they need to track whether this task has been done and what is the progress of this task and everything. That's not being tracked. And apart from that, they have a lot of missed opportunities, I would say. They send code to a customer, it's not being followed up. They go to another competitor, it happens. So they tell me that they are putting so much of hard work into doing their operations, doing their sales. It's not a simple thing, because they are putting a lot of time to it, their efforts to it, and it's not giving them results, right? It's a sad thing to see for an renovation thing. So when they came in, so we suggested few products that can accommodate all these problems that they're having. So for an example, you want to keep track of your invoice and everything. As I've mentioned earlier, digital invoicing. You have the copy of it, and your client will have a copy of it. So you won't be missed in terms of the payments and everything. Next will be your project management. That's where Zoho projects comes in. So when you're doing a specific renovation for a client, you will be having like what are the tasks involved, and you can set it what are the milestones needs to be achieved, and as per the milestones, your payment will be released. So you have something evident to show them, oh, we have completed this task. You're not just going to go and check up saja.
Yep.
Because in most of the renovation thing, right, you can say, oh, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this. Because sometimes these clients, right, especially for the corporate clients having like office renovation and all, they can't be having to come forth, check out whether done or not. After that, confirm. It's going to have a lot of time. Because when they use Zoho projects, right, they can also add the images and everything, whether it's completed or not. And what are the things in progress and so on. So Zoho projects comes in. So next, of course, Zoho CRM comes in because you don't want to have missed opportunities.
Yeah.
Because opportunities are there. It's when you missed it. I know you know the pain when you miss such opportunities, because you have a very good client who wants your service, but all because you are not having a systematic follow-up, you're not following up and everything, you're going to miss that customer.
Yep.
So you don't want that to happen. So Zoho CRM comes. So they have implemented all these tools that I've mentioned earlier. So what happened was their growth within the 1 year itself, their revenue grew by almost 20 to 25%. So now they don't have all the leads are properly being managed, and they don't miss out on like leads that comes from word of mouth, referrals, or even from their website and everything. It just comes in, and they have a dedicated staff to manage them.
Yep.
So apart from it, the projects are being done in a more efficient way. They don't have to do a lot of checking and everything. But at the end of the day, checking means there will be some minor things that, you need to go and get it repaired or something. So that happens. But in the bigger picture, right, you see that, the progress of the project is being done and everything. So it shows that even it gives confidence from the client side.
Yep.
Because when you're showing them in a systematic way, rather than just by your word, by your mouth and everything, it's not going to be as effective as how you structure it systematically and show to them.
Yep.
So when you structure it systematically and show to them, people gain trust is one thing. And they're going to refer other people for sure. Because they're definitely going to have a network of people who come and tell them, oh, these guys are good, man.
Yep.
They are doing it systematically. You go for them. Less hassle. You're not going to waste your money and time. So this is how digital tools should help businesses. This is what you want to hear from your clients. Businesses in Malaysia, right, actually can use this kind of used case studies, right, to improve their businesses.
Yep.
Because you can see them as a competitor, yes, but you do have a unique or different market that you serve. So when you do that, you're going to be having competitive advantage over your competitors. So having a system is your competitive advantage. So businesses need to realize that.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Speaking from experience as well, yes, that's what I experience. When I attend events or when I work with your team, I can see, wow, there's a lot of system. It's everything prim and proper. Cool. Do you have any more success stories to share?
Actually, many success stories. One that's very close to me with the NGO.
Mm-hmm.
So, we work with an NGO that is, taking care of a pregnancy crisis. So actually for them, right, they actually get a lot of case calls, calls, and they cannot operate this on WhatsApp because it's very private, and you may deal with, teens, underage people. And when they trusted Zoho to deploy these services for them, it actually gave us a lot of confidence and a lot of, trust in providing solutions for that. And they also know that we are one of the vendors who actually have like an NGO discounts for them. And we are very happy to work with them. And they're like our past clients for the past 6 years. So I'm very happy to work with an organization like that. And with our recent visit last year, they also shared that, we guys are very consistent also because they have seen us over the past 5 years plus. And they have shared that, other software vendors, they have a high turnover.
Always come and go.
High turnaround or stuff.
Yeah.
So it's the lady was very happy to see me and my colleague Lex visiting the center recently. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, cool. So cool. Now the latest buzzword
Mm.
is of course AI. All right. So there's a lot of new things coming up. So what do you see is the next wave?
Actually, AI is the current wave, and there's no, I cannot predict the next wave.
Yep.
Yeah, but in Zoho, we have went ahead with this agentic-based AI. So previously, there may be an app to do a certain thing. There's an app for everything. In the near future, there's going to be an agent to do everything. So, for instance, if there's a app for live chat, there'll be an AI agent for live chat.
Mhm.
So the AI agent for customer service. So this AI agent would probably go into, it can be trained and go into your business applications and fetch out certain data, can help analyze the data and even make predictive calls, or maybe come out with certain strategies to ensure this customer doesn't churn if it's like a customer service agent. And if it's like a sales agent, right? This AI of ours can even um, call this customer and maybe schedule appointments to ensure that this person go for a renewal, can generate quotations, generate estimates, that kind of stuff. So there will be probably um, instead of the person need to use applications, the person will only need to interface with one or two agents, and agents can communicate with other agents to get the work done.
Yep. So it's so exciting to hear about AI agents. So now in 2025, we have moved from remote work. Now we are moving towards hybrid work as well. So how does it help with hybrid work?
Okay, hybrid work in the younger generation,
Yeah.
I would say the younger generation is they. I think we have the concept of working anywhere,
Yes.
working everywhere. So uh, in the early days of COVID, right? When you need to travel, when you're working on a document on offline mode, okay, that is a form of work. But nowadays, when we are very connected, we can work like everywhere, and even on the air flights, you get Wi-Fi also,
Yeah.
so you're also connected. So whenever you are, wherever you are, you still can work. So asynchronous communication, having access to repositories, having access to slides. So as a presenter, you can go and modify your slide. You can do work at wherever you want to do. I think that is like hybrid work. But when you have but not all industries allow hybrid work.
Mm.
Like for example, we spoke about agriculture. How do you remote work
I think in
agriculture?
future, most probably we'll be having drones and everything, robots and everything working for us in terms of planting,
Yep.
harvesting, and so on. But years to come. By the end of the day, now still, you can't hybrid for agriculture. It's still hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are some very intricate industries that you cannot use a hybrid work, and even drone planting or machinery planting, it still cannot replace that the human the microbes of the hand. I know that in some places, they get the people to plant tea leaves or to pluck tea leaves. The tea leaves were exceptionally high quality because of the human touch.
Yep.
So it's very different in terms of some industries like agriculture.
Yeah.
But we see that this is a very good trend, especially right now. In some region you have disasters. You need to be able to allow emergency forces to be able to work hybridly and remote, so that they can base peacetime and security operations to somewhere near, and to even evacuate certain offices. So previously you will have software installed in a building.
Mhm.
Right now, you can have laptops and Wi-Fi, and then you can go wherever you want.
Yep, that's very important. And last question is, so Nevin, you work with Malaysian SMEs.
Yep.
So how do you see them competing regionally?
Okay, so now Malaysia has become the chairman for ASEAN. So we can see more emphasis is put on small medium businesses in Malaysia to have more distributed of their services as well as product within the ASEAN region itself. So first of all, they need to become more digital savvy. So this whole conversation we are having today talks about digitalization, digital adoption, and also digital tools. So these small medium businesses, if they want to have their play within that, because I would say ASEAN is a very big demographic, and you need to have what it takes to be there. So digital savviness is one important thing that they need to focus on to be able to compete with because there are other countries like Singapore is there, Vietnam is growing in terms of technology. So you want to compete with that, you need to be digital savvy. So you need to emphasize on your digital stuffs and all. So apart from that, you need to also look into borderless operations, like what Ko mentioned, and you asked, working remote has been trends and everything, right? So you need to make sure, like for an example, if you have a product here in Malaysia being manufactured and you want to cater it for maybe Indonesia and Philippines, so you need to have a seamless integration with the delivery services and all. So this can be done only by digital systems. So they need to identify and learn about these systems for them to be competitive out there. Because at the end of the day, you need to consistently educate yourself. It's a learning process because you're not going to learn something in an instance. It's through experience and through other people's experience as well. So let's say business A is doing it. So you eventually, rather than starting from scratch, right, you can reverse engineer whatever they are doing, which is working for them, and see what are the minor things that you can change or you can repair within your system to stand out. So they need to focus on those things. So apart from that, it's also about the culture of learning, I would say, because we have been culture when even from our school time and everything, right? When we want some information, we go to the library, we get the information from there and everything. But now it's all digital. Free resources is there, YouTube videos are there, and podcasts are there. So there are things there. It's just that it's about whether you are going out there, grab it, use it for your own growth, grow your business, go out there and be there. So it is something like it's within your blood. It's just that you are not focusing on that.
Yeah.
It's because you're too busy with the new hypes and everything that's coming. They want to jump into the new hypes rather than getting the basics and the fundamentals right.
Yeah.
So when they get these fundamental rights, you can be out there in the ASEAN region to dominate.
Wow.
So that's my point of view. If they want to be become more competitive within this region itself.
All right. Thank you, Naveen. So cool. So before we wrap up, what is your final advice to Malaysian SMEs?
I'll say it's general across not just Malaysian SMEs. For businesses who, deliver a product or service that solve a problem, like a Panadol to a headache, people will buy, rather than, multivitamins for overall health. So my take, or my recommendation is for those of you who never tried Zoho before, try Zoho CRM. Starts free. So if you have 3 or less founders, it's free. Try it, yeah.
Thank you, Ku, for sharing. It's very important for us to digitalize. Like Naveen said, we are the ASEAN chair. So it's very important to start. And one thing I learned here today is you start strong with a correct system, correct fundamentals, correct framework. So when you grow or when you add new co-founders, your business can scale, right?
Yes.
So thank you so much, Ku, and also thank you, Naveen, for joining us.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.